Become a member of the National At-Home Dad Network, an organization focused on providing advocacy, community, education, and support. Connecting with households where dad is the primary caregiver of the children. We do this through our webinar and podcast series, mental health support groups, regular online social events, as well as our annual convention. The National At-Home Dad Network is a 100% volunteer organization. Without the generous support of its members and the community around it, we would not be able to continue the work that we do. Becoming a member gives you access to past convention speaker presentations, the ability to vote for board members annually, and ensures that the organization's fees and bills are in positive standing. Oh yeah, it should not go unmentioned that there is some cool swag headed your way if you decide to become a member. For only $35 a year, your membership provides you with the exclusive content only we can generate, and you'll be supporting an organization that benefits families all around the country and world. By advocating for them, offering them community, providing education and guidance, and supporting them to grow in their parenthood journey. And one last thing, if you contribute $500 or more, you will become a lifetime member. Not only will you receive everything already mentioned, but also a certificate recognizing your status and an exclusive National At-Home Dad Network challenge coin with our trademark logo, Dads Don't Babysit. So, what are you waiting for? Become a member today. Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At-Home Dad Network. My name is Brock.
My name is Danny.
And we are here to talk about life as stay-at-home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight. Got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet. Cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey everybody, welcome to Home Dad Chat. We figured we'd hit record after, we just sat here for the past 5 minutes just talking while we weren't on record. So there goes all that good content. I mean,
we're going to rehash it and do our best to make it sound genuine, but it's going to be like, and then I went to this thing. Brock's going to fake a laugh. I'm going to fake a laugh. It'll be great.
It'll be all good. It'll be all good. And then later Joe Saladino will just accuse me of basically ruining the show by talking about it at like the dad lounge or something. That's what he did to me last night.
I saw that. He busted your chops a little bit on Discord as well. It was a little bit of slap down.
He came at me.
Joe's not pulling any punches.
No, he's not. That's okay though.
Yeah, give as good as you get, man.
It's all good. It's all good. You seem to be having a pretty good night there. Got yourself a stogie going for the evening.
I have vented my office. I think I've tried one previous cigar, and it's the air purifier and the ventilation did pretty well. You can't get away from the odor really. So my office will always smell a little bit like a cigar, but I really like that, but anything, yeah, I like it. And anything in here, like I've got hats on the wall or whatever, they're going to take that. Any cloth thing is going to take that smell and hold it. So
nice. I'm
just gonna, but I checked it out 3 nights ago. I don't know, earlier. And the first puff I took, I blew and it went whoop, straight out the window like it was supposed to, straight through the vents and everything. And I'm like, yeah, all right. Because I've been missing having a cigar. I don't want to have too many, but at least like once a month, just sit down and have one and have a place where I can do it. And it's going to be very, very cold soon. So
yeah,
like in 3 weeks, I guess. I don't know, Wisconsin.
Just in time for you to come back from Home Dad Con and be like, that was nice and warm and now I'm freezing. So
I had to wear just shorts. That's it. I couldn't even put on shoes. It was so hot. And then come back here and fly into Chicago and make my drive home and just be like, okay, it's getting colder by the minute. I'm not going to make it.
I started. I opened up the weather app today because I was like, oh, I can finally see like maybe a couple days of the beginning of like Home Dad Con week, and I was very intrigued that so the temperature is like 100 degrees is like the high on like that Phoenix. Monday and Tuesday out in Phoenix, yeah. But what was funny is like it's about that temperature right now out there. And so I
Hmm.
was like scrolling down and I was like, wonder what the humidity's like. Because, around here, if it's that hot, the humidity is going to be like 90% or more or something stupid like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I looked at theirs, it's like 33% humidity. And I'm like scratching my head going, what is that? My brain can't quite compute
Mm.
what 33% humidity with 100 degrees
Yeah,
even
what does that
feels
even
like.
feel
I
like?
don't even know
Yeah.
what that even feels like. Yeah. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll figure that out when I get out there because I have absolutely no idea what that even means.
One of the first times I went to Minnesota, I was going, it was the middle of summer, doesn't matter. And they all said, we're going up, it's going to get hot, you got to be ready. And I'm like, okay, cool, cool. Last time I came up in the summer, it was 49 degrees, July 4th. So I'm still packing a hoodie. I can't, I don't know how to deal with this. But we get up there and we're at my wife's aunt's house and everybody's inside. And I go outside and it turned out 98 degrees, right? And I'm sitting on their back porch. I'm like, man, this is nice. I really like it. And everybody else is like looking through the sliding glass door, like, what is that idiot doing out on the get back in here? Like, no, I love this. This is what heat should feel like, where you're not drowning in it. We're not breathing the water. It was
Yeah, I was gonna say,
amazing.
there was
So
no humidity up there, huh?
yeah, humidity was nothing. And it really relatively, it could have been 30%. And, they could have been like, that's awful. I don't think they would have really hated the humidity at that point, but I'm looking forward to Phoenix because I want to experience the heat and also with the understanding that I've got a place to go into the AC where it's cool
Right.
and it's an appropriate amount of dryness, but not too much
Right.
and not die. Cause that heat's I'm done with it. I'm not, Georgia was enough for me, but I'm still gonna have a great time. We got a photo tour and we've got several hikes scheduled. We got a run, which I'm not going to be on, going over and taking down, doing the community project to set the wall up for the mural so little kids can paint it and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll be a part of all that though.
That's cool.
Yeah. Other than that, I'll just be in the house.
I'm not sure exactly what all I'm going to end up doing. Honestly, if I can find a nice shady spot and it's not too awful, I'll probably just like smoke cigars outside if I can. If it, maybe
Mhm.
late at night when the sun goes down, because that's when it'll probably
Yeah.
be cool. That's probably when you'll find me at night, like literally outside with a cigar, just hanging out.
Well, the thing is too, is the time difference, right?
Oh, that's gonna mess with me. Yeah,
Yeah. We're
3 hours
losing
for me.
Central. We're losing 2 hours. You're losing 3. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
just like, wow, yeah, we've got planned, I'm running a game after convention eve, right, for a Dungeons and Dragons game. And then we're going to do board games on Saturday or Friday, excuse me, after the convention. Great, great, great. Loved, looking forward to it. We're going to start at 9. Oh, I can handle 9. 9's a little late, honestly, for me, but I can do it. And my brain's going, that's going to feel like 11. And then you're going to play for like 2 or 3 hours. I think I'm too old for this.
Yeah, well, that's the thing for flying out. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was, it's like, okay, I'm flying out at like 6:15 in the morning. And as soon as I get on the plane and it takes off, like I'm gonna flip my watch back 3 hours
Mm-hmm.
and
Let it
show
try
up.
to catch up.
Yeah, and show and show up there, at 7:15 or whatever it is, and be like,
Well, I was thinking you were going to say before you left, like you were
oh,
going
I
to
don't
catch it like that much.
no, well, because I don't want to be like trying to figure that out while I'm in Indy. But once once we get in the air, I'm like, okay, now. So when I land, it's like, okay, it's like that. Wow, here we go.
And
Oh
you're
yeah,
going up Tuesday?
Monday. Yeah, Tuesday morning. Yeah,
Tuesday, yeah. I'm going up
yep.
Wednesday, and I've got actually I've cheated a little bit. Keith Nagel, our esteemed vice president, has kindly asked, does anybody want to do a buddy pass with me?
Nice.
And the biggest thing is nobody's really close enough. There wouldn't. It was like, okay, if you're going to go with me though, you got to live in like this, within like 2
Yeah.
hours of me or whatever. And but we ended up going to Chicago. We're going to go out of Chicago, so I'm looking
Nice.
forward to it. I'm going to go down on I'm going to go that way on Tuesday, and I'll fly
Yeah.
out until Wednesday morning.
Will you stay at his place and then go, and then you guys both drive down to Chicago from
I
there? Or?
haven't talked to him about it. I'm not sure. I'm going to wait until I'm not even sure he's home yet. I think he is, but I know he was out of town. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him, but I will tell you that I have a plan about 2 hours southeast of me there's a big medieval style church up
Oh,
on a hill, and it's a long climb up to the hill, but you get up at that time of the year, the leaves are going to be changing probably in the next couple of weeks. So you go up to the church, and they call it Holy Hill is the website and all that. That's not the official name of it, obviously, but it's 100 years old or so. So it's not terribly old, but it's old enough to really feel it. And it's just got such a good view of all of the area around it.
yeah, that's cool.
It just came up on my feed at some point today. And I thought, yeah, I would love to go see just like a really cool old church. I'm not going to be able to hit mass or anything, but I can at least go and, just gawk at it, I guess, and stand around outside and take pictures.
Yeah,
But yeah, then I'll probably get a hotel
nice.
closer to Chicago. So
Well, that's one of the things that's in Phoenix that I'm interested in is there's a basilica there.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and I love going in the place. I grew up Catholic, but I love going
Mhm.
into places like that because you get some really beautiful artwork in there, stained glass windows, that kind
Mhm.
of thing, and they're all quite unique in their own way. So that's probably one of the places that I'll venture to and
Cool.
hopefully get a walk around in a little bit.
Yeah. Nice.
So I think it's
Nice.
only a few blocks. I think it's only a few blocks from the hotel, so it's not far. So that'll be pretty cool.
If you haven't, would you put that in the Discord?
I'll put it in the spreadsheet thing or whatever
Just an
too.
option to, because I'd like to go see it too, and
Yeah,
I'll forget about it. But
yeah,
heck,
definitely. But yeah, so that's pretty exciting. Oh, I do know one thing. So maybe some people probably saw this on online or whatever, but I entered my motorcycle in a vintage
mm-hmm.
motorcycle rally this past weekend, and
Your
on
first time
first time, yep, after
ever?
doing a full tear down and rebuild and clean up and a little bit of paint on it and everything. And I do have to before I tell you what happened, tell you what took place the day before.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and picked up the trailer that I was going to be taking the bike down on and
Okay.
got home, got the trailer off. I was like, oh, I'll do a couple little things to clean up the bike or whatever. And then I was like, I'll fire it up because it's been sitting for a few days and I haven't fired it up.
Yeah.
So it's morning. There's a bit of heavy dew on the ground. So I fire it up, fires up fine, everything's good. I'm like, all right,
Oh, okay. Good.
I'm gonna take it for a little spin around just the yard or whatever. And on my side yard, it's got a little bit of this like little hill, like nothing big or anything. And I really didn't think it would be a big deal. So I'm going through there, and all of a sudden, like I throttle up, and as I throttle up, the tires slide to the left, and I
Oh,
put the bike down on the
oh
right side.
no. Oh
Yeah,
no.
and right onto the garden wall. I've got like a stone block garden wall, so
Mm-hmm.
it lands on that. It pins my right leg underneath the bike, um, and
Ouch.
basically causes some minor damage to the bike itself, like just cosmetic wise. And I was just saying every cuss word you could possibly think of. It was so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I got myself out from underneath the bike, got some stuff situated, but the bike up, realized that my knee was hurting, kind of lay the bike down real lightly, pull up my pant leg, and I have like a 2 inch cut across my kneecap,
Mm.
and just like cheese grater the rest of it.
Mm.
Luckily, I was wearing pants, so that was good. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was crazy. So that was kind of a bummer. The nice part is though, like I said, like it's so the motorcycle itself is a unrestored really. So patina
Mm-hmm.
is patina. So it kind of chalked it up to that. So got it back to the garage, looked it over, cleaned it up, got it all situated and sat it there or whatever, and then took it to the show. And I don't have a kickstand for this bike. So I use a 4x4 piece of wood, which does the trick. It works. It's just so
Yeah.
hard to find a kickstand for this thing, which I actually ran into a guy who has one. So I'm going to be getting one.
Good. Good.
So I show up, do the pictures, set the bike up, hang out with some older guys who are like, in their almost 60 and stuff. And some of them are even older than that were there. And just hanging out, having a good time, and they were really a lot of fun. And the next day was on Sunday was the actual rally or for the judging, and I'm there, and they're going through all the different bikes, and for the American, which in all actuality, a bike like mine is not actually American, even though it has the Harley Davidson because it was made in Italy by Harley Davidson. So it's a really weird setup. um,
Interesting. Yeah.
but I asked the organizers, I was like, hey, this bike is both Italian and American. What do you want me to put it in? They're like, well, it says Harley Davidson on it, so just put it in the American. And I was like, okay, fine. So I did that, and they called out, all right, now we're going to do the American Unrestored, the bike that we've chosen to be the first place bike in this category is a bike that we've never had here actually at the show before. So we're really happy that this guy brought it in, and it's been really neat to look over. And they say, it's a 1976, and we're like, me and my buddy are looking at each other like, well, there's the start of it.
Getting closer.
And then it's like he goes, SX 175 Aramachi Harley Davidson, and we look at each other, and we're just like, holy crap. And I'm like, no way. And so like I got like goosebumps, just like I am now. I don't know, it was just so surreal. Went up there and got a plaque actually from them, which
a plaque. Wow.
Yeah, it's like an 8x10 plaque. I mean, it's like legit.
Nice.
Like, hanging on your wall. It was actually sponsored by Indian Motorcycles of Northern Kentucky, which is really cool too. But yeah, so I got this big plaque that says first place and everything on it, and went up and got pictures with it. And it was so funny because one of the old guys that we were hanging out with, his nickname is the Old Man. That's what everybody calls him. And he was like, I can't believe I got beat out by a guy that has a wood block for a kickstand. It was so
that
funny.
might be a little humbling.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I told David McMillan that story, and he's like, you got to nickname your motorcycle Peg Leg.
Make it a pirate. That's awesome though. And then really congratulations. I think I've said this already, in other mediums, but yeah, congratulations on the win. That's gotta be exciting.
It is exciting. Yeah. It actually gives a bit of extra, like, kind of, if I wanted to sell it, I'd have that little extra bit to go off of it. Yeah. So not that I'm going to anytime soon, but
in the listing. By the way,
by the way,
every year for the last 5 years or something. Who knows?
This is an award-winning bike.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing David suggested, which I thought was really funny, was he's like, you gotta find somebody that's got a lathe and they could like make you a wooden kickstand for it. That would be pretty cool. And I was like, actually, that's a really neat idea to have a wooden kickstand, because then you have that the ability to call it Peg Leg and have that on there, and also too as sort of like an homage to, hey, like, this is how it was. Yeah. This was how we did this.
Where we started. Why is it made of wood? Well, let me tell you a story.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you get a little extra story with it when you take it to other shows. So who knows? Yeah. Maybe down the line, we'll see. Once I get it,
it's still exciting. It's still fun. It's a good story too. So yeah,
definitely. So that was my weekend. It was it was good. It was nice to just go down there and just be a guy, not dad, just be one of the dudes. Actually, it's kind of interesting, like the guy who helped me with building the bike back up, his son and my son are in the same grade together, and he was like, hey, he's like, are you bringing Hezekiah with you? And I was like, no, I'm not. He's like, oh, because he was gonna bring his, he said, well, maybe I'll bring my kid with me and they can hang out. And I'm like, nope, not bringing him. I'm like, this is just a me thing.
Me.
Yep. And
for the first time in 6 years.
Yeah. Well, and he brought he brought his son anyways, and the whole time he just sat there and played on his Switch the entire time. And I was just like, I'm not going to pay for my kid to come into a motorcycle rally and just like sit there and play video games the whole time. Like, he can just stay at home and play video games if that's the case. But yeah,
especially with you having a bike to present, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of concentration. And also there's a matter of you. I mean, that's your baby at the moment. You don't
right.
need another baby
Yeah.
hanging out that you have to take care of. So I think that's a better decision, especially if you're presenting or you're
Right. And I had
however you
people
say that,
coming
presenting.
up and people coming up and just, I would stand around the bike every once in a while and you'd see somebody looking at it and I would engage with them or whatever. And,
Mm-hmm.
that would be very difficult to do with a 9-year-old because they would
Yeah.
come up and like ask a bunch of questions like, go away right now. Like I'm having an adult conversation type of deal. So yeah.
Which kids are so good at going away when you're having an adult conversation.
Oh
They're
yeah. Yeah.
so
Until you answer their question, it's on like Donkey Kong. So yeah.
Tell
So
you the
anyway,
best investment that I've made for my kids' education is Alexa. Because you have the entirety of Google, basically. You have the entire internet to search, and
yeah,
they'll check the weather every morning, which I love because I taught them over the winter. Hey, I'm not gonna lay your clothes out for you. This is the littles, of course. I definitely do it for the bigger kids. You're gonna have to go and see what the weather's gonna be like. Is it gonna rain today? Then you'll need your raincoat. Is it going to be 4? Then you're going to need to wear your snowsuit. You're going to have to get ready for what's going on. And it's been really, really good for them.
Yeah.
Because they take over the ownership of doing it. Now they don't always dress correctly. I still have to keep an eye on it.
Sure.
But
wearing shorts and it's 30 degrees outside. Woo!
And then any of the questions like, Dad, do you know? I mean, I don't know. My kids come up with, how kids are. They're just crazy. Dad, how do trees get water from the ground? And I'm like, well, I know, but Alexa will give you an entire article and maybe a video on it. So you go learn about the cohesion of water molecules, and I'm just going to stand over here and make dinner, or have a conversation. Well, I haven't had a lot of conversations, but, attempt to have a conversation.
That's a great idea. I don't think that Corey, she's not very big into the AI stuff, so she's pretty much made it known like Alexa will not be entering our house anytime soon. Which is fine.
I respect that.
We do use Siri on on our iPhones from time to time and just basically ask the question and let them hear the answer type of deal, which works. Good. Which works, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I get it. Technology is such a fickle beast in itself. So
yeah, I mean, you do have to be careful, and you have to make sure. Well, like we're looking at, for my oldest kids, both have some cell phones, and it is for me to communicate with them more than anything else. Me to just be able to let them know, because today my wife went into work, Marnie went into work, so she wasn't home, and then the buses ran late for the elementary school. And then the eldest has joined his first club of the year is GSA. And I don't remember, it used to be a different phrasing, but it basically is for LGBTQA, a club basically. And they've changed what the GSA stands for. So I don't remember the new ones. But he sent me a text. He said, hey, I'm going to stay late tonight. If that's okay, I'm going to stay until, take this to go to this club. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then he said, oh, actually it ends half an hour earlier than I thought. So can you come get me? And, the littles are just walking in, and my 13-year-old isn't even home yet. But it was really cool because I sent him a text. I said, hey, where are you at? Are you on the bus? How long are you going before you get here? And was able to coordinate with both of my older kids and just communicate with him like you would another adult.
Yeah.
Their communication skills aren't as good as, like you expect from adult, but they really serve that purpose.
Yeah.
They can do so much harm if you're not careful with it, of course. Right. But it's like any tool, I can crush my finger with a hammer if I'm not paying attention. So it's not really the tool for me in my mind, as much as how much do I let them go and how much do I kind of rein it in,
right.
But go ahead.
Well, and you were saying that you were trying to figure out where they were. Was that right?
I was asking him, how far away from the house are you? Like, if you're going to be here in 5 minutes, that's different. If you're going to be here in an hour, because the buses have all been running late these first couple of weeks. They don't have enough bus drivers, I think. They have an ad on every school, and I get 3 emails a day generally from each of the schools, and each one of them's like, "Hey, you want to be a bus driver? We're hiring bus drivers."
Oh
And
my gosh.
the
Yeah.
district is kind of smaller, so yeah. So, and if
So
the
this,
one runs late, the other
yeah.
next.
So this would be my shameless plug then for my favorite app that's on my phone and that my entire family uses. It's called
Go
Life
for it.
360. I
All
think I've
right.
maybe mentioned it before in the show. I'm not sure. But basically, it's an app that allows you to see the location of anybody that's a part of like your group of people.
Mm-hmm.
It also allows you to send messages to them, or or you can just even just pull it up and be like, where are they at right now? And
Mm-hmm.
like I'll use it when Corey's coming
Stalking
home.
them.
I use it when Corey's coming home, and it'll tell me like, hey, she's this many minutes away or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It also will tell you when someone has left home and when they've come back into the neighborhood. Like it'll give you notifications for that, which
Mm-hmm.
is really cool. Um, we've used it for like if you're like I went on a camping trip one time with David McMillan, and we were in
Mm-hmm.
the middle of nowhere in Tennessee, so you couldn't just punch in an address, but we were able to pull up 360 and you can just say take me to Brock, and then it, like literally gives you the GPS directions and everything to be able to
That's kind of
drive right
cool.
to it. Yeah, it's really cool.
It's like an air tag, but for
Kind of,
people.
yeah, exactly. And so use it for that. I've got my mom, my dad, my grandmother, and my nephews are on there along with my wife, and so yeah, it's really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not evasive at all, which is nice. It's just like, all right, like in the situation here, like you wouldn't even have to text them. You just pull it up and be like, all right, they're 15 minutes out and they're taking this direction. The
Mm-hmm.
one thing that's actually kind of cool about it is if like they're in a car and there's like a sudden stop that maybe the AI software feels like maybe it was a crash or something,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get a notification for that,
Oh.
like which is really cool. I think it's the new iPhone 7 or the new Apple Watch 7 has something similar to that now.
Mm-hmm.
But this app has had it for a while. You can put it on your phone. So yeah, it's definitely something to check out, especially if you've got like anybody who's listening, if they've got kids and you're just like, how can I maybe just have a better connection without it being so invasive? Like this is a great way for that, especially if they're driving. Oh my gosh, like it's
Mm-hmm.
it's really helpful for that. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, might check it out. It's free, so that's the other cool part. It doesn't cost
My
anything.
my oldest about like it really ready to drive whenever we can pay for the honestly pay for the course because it's very
Oh
expensive.
yeah,
You have
yeah,
a prerequisite. You got to get this course, and then you got to go to this to school. Then you get your learners, and you got to go for this amount of time. Then you can get your. I'm like, you'll be 18 before you get your driver's permit. We're just not. We're not getting this done. We're running all over the place. But
so
he's
they won't
fine
let
with
you.
it.
So they won't let you just teach your kid.
No,
Wow,
you have to pay, and I think it's $400 or something like that. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean,
is that a state law?
it's yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it may. I don't think it would be a county thing. I think it would have to be a state
No,
thing.
that sounds
But
like a state thing.
yeah, because it's a driver's license, so you wouldn't want to. Well, I'll
Yeah,
just jump over to this one instead. But it's fine in its way because you should, the operative word being should get better
true.
drivers who are more capable, drivers who get more experience behind the wheel before they're on their own,
Yeah,
also more, classroom training. How much of that sticks, but if it comes to the point where like he's 18 and on his way to college and it's snowing, he's going to have a better handle on how to handle that vehicle,
right.
I feel, or he better for $400. But we got too many other things going on. As you well know, and every dad that's going to Home Dad Con, we don't have any extra money right now. So,
Right.
but
Exactly.
yeah, so we're waiting on that. But what I did think, and I'm not positive I'm going to do this, but what I would like to do is to see if we could get an old, preferably manual shift beater of some kind, just old car.
There you go.
He wants a Jeep, but I take a Jeep, a truck, a car, whatever that isn't maybe running well, needs, nothing major. I mean, I could change a head gasket or something like that, but I wouldn't want to do rings as an example or redo the pistons. That's a bit too in depth. But just to get in and go, okay, well, this is an alternator. This is what the alternator does. And if you don't have an alternator, this is what happens. So if this belt is broken, like it is on this vehicle, this is how you replace it, just to get your hands onto that, like you do. I mean, like we used to do, it was machine shop, or, we had an automotive shop that
Yeah.
you did, like in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was fantastic. It was because it let you see what all those things were.
Actually, my high school still to this day has a program for basically you can sign up for like a mechanics class.
Nice.
And it's really cool because anybody in the community can bring their car there and the kids work on them. And it's pretty awesome. So you're not paying for labor.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying for parts. Now, the other part of it is that, if you go in there and there's a queue of cars, like you're at that sort of situation where it's like, all right, do you want to leave your car for 2-3 days? Like, are you good with that kind of deal? Like, they're not going to be able to give you a rental, so that's not going to work. But, you only have to pay for the parts. So take the good with the bad on that one. But I love the fact that they still have that program around.
I could see that being very beneficial and very something you'd be willing to do. Like, okay, yeah, this car is sitting. It's sitting here and you're fixing it, or it's sitting at somebody else's garage while they're fixing it. Just go ahead because I can't drive it or whatever. Or just the little stuff, hey, let's change out the plug wires.
Yep.
Such a small thing if they have plug wires anymore.
We had a class too for like an industrial arts class. So and it was like, you learned how to, power tools and everything. And like the big project was that usually like a couple people, like they would have somebody in the community would order like a big shed, like a mini barn basically. And I think like the year I was in there, I think we built like 3 or 4 of them. Like we got a bunch of orders, but it was so cool because, all the materials came in and you had to learn how to like cut things a certain way. And then like, putting up the framing and and then also too, like you roofed, like there was shingles involved. So you got to learn how to roof and how to cap things and all that kind of stuff. And that was great for me because I was able to take that experience out into the world. And, when family members would be like, hey, we're going to do a roof today or whatever this weekend. And it was like, all right, sweet. Give me a hammer. Give me me a bag of nails. Let's go for it type of deal. And I think I did 3 or 4 houses like that when I was in high school because I had gone through that experience. So stuff like that, like, and that's the thing. Like, I feel as though, those things are starting to go away in schools, some places. And it's like, well, you can do that like when you graduate and go do like a trade or something along those lines. It's like they should bring that stuff back. Like, yeah, it's good to have outside. Like, trade schools are definitely a very legitimate place to go after high school, but to have it in there prior to that, I think would be just as beneficial just for life skills.
Yeah, I agree. They do a lot of the same classes here from what I've seen at the high school. The senior high is really pushing but really encouraging their youth apprenticeship program that they have, which you really have to be a junior to get into it. But so many companies around here, and there are a couple of, there's like one big manufacturing company, and there's a big insurance company, and there's another like IT company in the area, and they're big enough that they can employ a lot of people. And they have people from the school that have been there for 40 years that went through the program and have, and they've continued it every year. And these are the people that come back like, well, I'm a shift supervisor now, so I could take time off if I want to. And so I'm here just to talk to you tonight about, how we could encourage your kids to find something they want to do in our youth apprenticeship program. And you'll start out sweeping floors or something. I mean, you're just going to get in there and get used to coming to work every day, but then you develop an idea of what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't work in a manufacturing plant for very long. I need things to change. I got ADHD too bad, and I need a constant change or I'll get bored. But like my son is looking at it, and the insurance company was hiring. He didn't get into the apprenticeship program last year, but they have a huge IT department, and that's where he wants to go. He wants to get into computer technology and stuff like that. So they do some schools, of course we're in the Midwest, so we do things a little different.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like
so-
you're from like a rural area, and that's where I
Mhm.
grew up. So this apprenticeship you're talking about, is that like a co-op type of deal? Like they go during the school, like during the school day, like out and go to
No,
these like jobs or anything, or
they take full-time job during the summer. That's how
oh,
you
okay,
start.
that's
So your
different.
first
Okay,
after junior year, you start. Well, now they may have other stuff involved too, but this is what they were talking about in this. But
okay, yeah,
and
because
they've got. Go ahead.
well, because like the one thing we had was like a co-op during the school year,
Mhm.
so you would partner with different businesses where you would go learn how things are for that deal. And then for the summer, if it was something where they had the ability to do it, like a lot of times they would hire you on for the summer to continue doing
Nice.
what it is. So it was like, through the school year, you weren't getting paid, but then when you did it for the summer, you actually got paid to do it, which was really cool. And also too, it was a nice piece to put on your resume for
Bingo.
when you like if you weren't going to go off to college immediately, it was a great way to like have something in place. I know a lot of guys and gals that I graduated with who maybe they didn't go off to school right off the bat or didn't even go at all, but because they did the co-op, they were able to actually like have a solid job when they got out of high school, and which was good for a lot of them because there were some who waited no time at all to have kids. So I mean, I'm 42. I got a buddy that I graduated with, and he's a grandpa now
hmm
at 42, and I'm just like, woo.
The math works on that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it works all right.
20 and 20.
But yeah, I went home a while, just I think it was like spring break earlier this past year, and ran into him at the bowling alley with my dad, and we were talking. He's like, he's like, I got two grandbabies. I'm like, wait a minute, you're 42 like me, right?
Yeah.
Just want to check.
We did graduate school together, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm like, what happened there? So, but hey, everybody, starts their lives their own way. So, but yeah, it was this very interesting in that. But those are the kind of things that like I don't know what an inner city, like a more urban setting school has in the fashion of programs like that for kids. Like,
hmm
I never lived in one. Like even here in Cincinnati, like I've not, my kids are going to a private school right now. I haven't really had the chance to connect with any dads who have older kids in the public school system to even ask them like what kind of things outside of just the actual like scholastic type stuff
Yeah.
do they offer. So
A good thing to find out.
yeah,
See
yeah,
that, we,
so it's on the horizon.
my high school was not really rural, but it wasn't a major city. It was out, in one of the most developing counties in the area at the time. So it wasn't in Atlanta, but it was still big enough.
Were you
And
in
they
like
had shop
Marietta?
and they had, Marietta. Bingo.
Yeah.
Walton High School, for anybody that knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows where I went. But yeah, it was great. And I will say, change the subject just a little bit. The coolest thing for me right now is that my two older kids are picking their curriculum, and they do kind of look at it like, okay, so in the last year of junior high, you need to start setting where you want to be to go through high school to get to where you want to be in college, and they're offering, AP courses. And of course, I've told my kids, take every single AP course you can, because that's a course you don't have to pay for when you get in college, whether it's pre-calc, whatever it is, and just get it and get it done so you don't have to pay for it later. And they've been, or my oldest has been pretty good. But so he chose two different electives. I don't know if they call them something other than electives, but they're electives when I was going to school. So he chose cooking. It's not cooking per se, but it's some type of, that's what you're learning to cook. And he said, I chose that one because I want to learn to cook like you do, and I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, you cook a lot of stuff and you just know your way around the kitchen. And I'm like, you want to you want to be like me? Oh my God. Yeah. And he was like, Dad, don't. No, I just want to learn how to cook like you. I don't want to be like you. I'm like, okay, sure, buddy.
So
I
wait, so
gotcha.
quick little sidebar before you
Mm-hmm.
get into the rest of your story, because this reminded me of this. So Joe Auger, who
Mm-hmm.
is here in town, he came to Home Dad Con for the first time last year.
Yeah, yeah.
So his oh gosh, his kiddo, I say that because like they have gone through a couple different transitions and I don't know where they are exactly with things. But they had it was like an event at school where it was like come dressed as like one of your parents for school. Now,
Mm-hmm.
their mom is in the medical field. So scrubs. Okay. They're
Easy,
and
yeah.
and then Joe is a stay-at-home dad.
Mm-hmm.
They came to Joe and said, I would like one of your t-shirts to wear to school so that I can be you
Nice.
for the day. He gave them a one of the National at Home Dad Network shirts with like
Cool.
the old gray shirt with like the huge logo on the front.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they wore to school today.
Wow.
And
Wow.
he posted a picture of it on his Facebook account. And I was like, way to go, man. And
Mm-hmm.
he was just like, yeah, trying to hold back some tears
Yep.
here. Like I
Yep.
feel really honored.
Yep. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. That's
So,
amazing.
because I think they're like a sixth grader or something like that. So
Oh,
sixth or
yeah.
seventh grader. So
That's
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. Because that's right at the age where they're starting to leave you,
Mm-hmm.
where they're starting to move on. They're going to be a teenager or they're already a teenager, but they're definitely becoming their own person
Yeah.
much more than they are your child. And that's amazing that that happens at that age. So, Joe, if
Yeah.
you're listening, congratulations, man. I will cry with you if you ever, because that's delightful. I love that story.
Yeah. I had to share that
Yeah.
when you mentioned that. I was like, oh man, like this is
Yeah.
perfect. So yeah. So your oldest is
Yeah.
interested
So,
in having
cooking,
the comfortability that you do, but the kitchen in the
yeah,
kitchen.
we'll see. We'll see. Because he's going to start with, because I've been building up my kitchen for, oh my God, a very 30 years, maybe. I
Right.
mean, I've been, you pick up your pans, your cast iron skillet, and that goes with you for the rest of your life, kind of thing. So he's not going to start like that, but yeah. But then the other class that he chose, and I'm very happy about this, is weight training.
Hmm.
Yeah. So he got in his first day, like I think Monday. This week or last week, I'm sorry, like Wednesday, let's say they started. And he's like, well, I figured out all my classes are, and we're doing this. And yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be, I'm going to do this and this and weight training. I'm like, oh, weight training. Okay, cool, cool, cool.
Are they teaching the nutrition in that?
I think so.
That's good.
I have not looked at the curriculum close enough, but it's definitely in there. And he's sore.
Oh yeah.
He comes home from his first day and he's like, oh yeah, I'm a little uncomfortable, but I'm fine. I can do this. I'm like, you can, but you're not sore until the second day.
Give him some ice.
Tomorrow you're going to feel it. And then he had leg day the next, and he comes home and he's like, Dad, I hate squats.
You know what?
I'm
You know
like,
what? You know
I
what you
think
need to
everybody
do.
hates squats.
You know what you need to do is you need to go to
Punch him in the leg. Oh,
no,
sorry.
no, no. Go to gosh, man. Go to Walmart and get these clay packs that you can do you can either heat them up or you can cool them down. We keep them in the freezer all the time. They're
Mm-hmm.
perfect. They come with
Clay.
elastic clay. Yeah, it stays really cold. Um and so there's these clay ice packs basically. So it's
Huh.
they they have like a cloth that like sleeve that they go in, and then they have an elastic with velcro on them. So for
Okay.
leg day you could wrap them around your calves or whatever
Yeah.
and sit there for 20 minutes and definitely like alleviate some of the inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got neck or whatever, like they've got ones that are bigger and they've got ones that are smaller. They are a godsend. We've got to have 10 of them here at the house. They're insane.
Yeah.
I think we've even bought them on Amazon as well. So if I find the link, I'll send it to you. But I
Ice
used them.
packs always
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Always good.
exactly. But that, that hopefully would help him. Something to look into.
I've
Definitely
got a
do that.
I've got an old combination that I used for a long time when I was working out and when I was in martial arts. And Tiger Balm is a fairly well known thing, and it's basically a muscle. You just kind of it's very menthol, so it's kind of a topical analgesic in a way too. But you kind of rub it in. But then with another product, which is a liquid called Posamon, and just like if you post some on your wound kind of thing, but not for wounds, but you mix those two together and then wherever you have, like, especially with an injury. But I did that a little bit for him. I said, okay, here, this and this, just for your muscles, don't get it in your eyes, don't eat it, don't be an idiot, and just rub it into your thighs, because you are going to be sore.
Yep.
And go drink a lot of water. You
That's
gotta have water to rebuild, to just keep everything greased up and ready, and moving, keep your joints, that's your oil in your body. You gotta have that.
Yep.
And it's been cool because he understands now that he's had someone other than me say it, what biceps are, what triceps are, and the muscles, and why I push so hard for them all to learn their musculature and skeletal systems, because you need to know what this is so that you can say, oh yeah, my tibia is broken or whatever, or this or that is messed up. And I love it because he comes in and he goes, yeah, it just all clicked when, I can't remember what the coach's name is, when coach started talking about it, and it just makes so much sense. You need to know these things. And I'm like, do you?
Do they have like access to an athletic trainer that could do like massage in different areas, or
that I know of? No,
no,
but they probably do, because they've got a pretty good football team. Or I should say a fairly, they're not great, but they're definitely a big part of the school kind of good,
Sure.
Football team. So yeah, they probably have one there for that. And, we'll see where he goes to, for how sore he gets and how far what I'm really appreciating though, is that he's pushing himself into places that he's uncomfortable.
That's great.
He went back the second day when he was already sore, but he has the goal of wanting to be, what I say is I think every person, you need to know the limits of yourself.
Yeah.
Your body will do this, and you need to know that, because it's very, and you probably, in the military, you probably got a lot of that too.
Mm-hmm.
You go through training, you figure out, oh, okay, I cannot run 10 miles. And then by the end of it all, you're like, yeah, I can run 10 miles. You want to go run 10 miles right now? Okay, let's go. But to be able to understand what your body's capable of doing, and that's what he's really looking to get to.
Yeah.
I doubt he would ever go into the military. He has his own views on things like that.
Sure.
But to at least get the physical understanding, and to be able to say, yeah, I want this part of my body to be more healthy or more developed. These are the exercises I need to do to focus on that. I love it that he's doing it. It was his idea.
Awesome.
So
even the training that I did for like bicycling when I was in college, because when I went to IU, I was part of the Little 500 bike stuff there. And so
cool.
Training teams, like same thing, like you'd get some people who are like, oh yeah, like I like to ride, and you go out and you're like, all right, we're going to do 50 miles today. And we get like 25 miles in and someone's like, oh my God, this is crazy.
What are we doing?
Yeah, we're not done
right?
yet. And and by the end of it, they were able to. The other thing we always train people on too, and this is the hardest part, is going uphill and talking at the same time.
Ooh.
So you're not concentrating so much on your breathing. You're trying to keep pedaling and talking at the same time. And that's a huge thing to like get over, because when you're in a race and you're going full bore and you got to also tell somebody like on your left, like, and you're screaming stuff at them while you're riding, like you need to be able to say that. And if you're pumping your legs and you're just like, that way, and you can't get the words out, like you're going to cause a crash or, something along those lines. And it's it's very detrimental to you and everybody else around you. And so, we would do these things where we do these hill climbers, and the whole time we would have a conversation with people and they would stop talking, like, hey, come on, keep telling me your story.
Don't stop.
but yeah, so we would, that was one of the biggest things. And I go out with people from time to time, and I can tell, when, you know, even myself, I'll get times where I'm just like, okay, I can't really talk, 'cause, and it's the same
Yeah.
way when I go out running too from time to time, which I've just recently gotten into, and that's its own story. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, that's great that he's getting into that, and it'll be interesting to see how that progresses for him. So
When you've trained, and I want to say one caveat before I go further is I am not a physical educator, so don't listen to me. Don't take my advice. This isn't what I want to see people doing. But have you ever trained holding your breath?
no, I mean, okay, I will say the only way that I've done that is when I was a professional lifeguard years ago, because you
Mhm.
would have to go down pretty deep and that kind of, do different like search techniques. So I have done that, but it's been so long ago.
Mhm.
But anything like above, I've never like just sat and like held my breath like above air or anything along those lines.
We
I
did
know
it
that's a training thing.
running.
What?
So we were running 8-minute miles, right? And
Okay.
this is okay. Anybody that's seen me anytime recently, this was a long time ago.
I was
Okay, it
gonna
was
be
like
like, dude, I'm running like
25 years ago.
I'm like,
Um,
I'm happy to run under a 12-minute mile right now. So
well, and that was it too. Our goal was, and it was like me and two or three other people, and I'd say two or three because one guy didn't ever like wasn't like really every single day, but we would get up and we would run, and that's where we wanted is 8-minute mile, 8-minute
yeah.
mile. Now I did a 9, and I was good. I didn't want to do any more of that, but that was the goal was still 8 minutes. I never made it, but we would, because we were training also in the martial arts together, we would have a lot of other stuff going on, with our breathing and how you need to control your breath when you're doing these, exercises, and when you're getting your belt ranks, you get tested a lot, and you
Yeah.
have to be able to just keep going and going and going. And you'll be throwing people around for an hour,
Right.
but we would go and we would say, okay, so at this marker, we go to that, from this telephone pole or whatever, or this mark on the, we stop at the end of the bleachers and we go to, the next side, to the other, just around the curve, whatever. Hold your breath.
Okay.
And so we would get to it and you just take a breath and you run the rest of the way. And it was amazing how demanding that was at first,
Oh,
because you
sure.
need your breath, but how when you push yourself through it, again, learning your limitations. And this was not at the 9-minute mile mark. This was more like, yeah, we're just going to run. We're going to hold our breath for a while and then we'll keep running. And a lot of the people that I talked to about martial arts or in martial arts, that was a big part of when they were at their most intensive training,
Hmm.
is they would run and they would just stop breathing.
That would
They would
make
hold their
sense.
breath
Yeah.
and then get through it. And then, of course, start gasping, but you have to control it. And
Right.
a
Right.
lot of times too, especially if you're doing floor work or groundwork, I should say, if you're doing groundwork and someone shuts off your oxygen, you need to be able to continue going for,
Right.
at least a
Exactly.
minute or so before and so you get over the panic of it, and you get over the need for oxygen at all times kind of thing. But it really helped me with my cardio and my, well, what's the breathing part, but my breathing, it really, really, it just ramped it up really fast.
Yeah. Like your
Uh, respiratory system. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I could
Which
see that because I mean, so you're
again, long time
constricting.
ago.
Yeah, like you're constricting your oxygen, so then like your blood vessels are constricting, and then you let all that out, and
Hmm.
yeah, I get that. That's interesting. I've never really considered that, but
Not recommending it. I'm just saying that's what we did, and it was very useful. I would not do it now, especially after COVID. I think my lungs are wrecked forever, but that's all right.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's a lot of people that are in that same boat too. So I'm
yeah, we
sure.
won't talk about that. I didn't mean to
No,
bring that up. We'll
no,
move
no,
on.
you're fine. You're fine. So anyway, I will say that along with all of this, and we were talking about Phoenix earlier. Um, so when this episode drops, we're like 1 week out.
Yeah,
It's just
and
insane.
I wanted to say it. I assumed that we would get on and just talk about home.com the whole time. It's just like so, but there's just so many other things going on, and
There are, yeah,
you are probably, I'm getting that way, but you're probably already there, a little bit
burnout
tired. Yeah, a little
a
burnout.
little bit.
Doing too many things, too much stuff, and you need, you're ready for the break of it all. I'm sure. I know I am. So it's like, yeah, I'm so excited, but I just tired. I don't want to talk about it right now.
Yeah. Well, and I was talking a little bit about that earlier today. So yeah, that was. I'm glad that I was able to. It's so nice with the Discord channel to have space to safely talk amongst others about what's going on and just get it out of your head. You know, a lot of times like I'll say stuff like and guys comment, which is totally fine. I'm all good with that. But for the most part, I'm just like word vomit, like onto the Discord channel. Just need to get this out of my head kind of deal. And I, you know, and it's healthy. That's good for you to do. And I've learned that. So
very,
yeah. So better place for it. But yeah, I mean, a week out when this airs. And honestly, too, like anybody who's listening that hasn't listened to the previous episode where we talked to the board candidates, like you need to, as soon as you finish this, go back and listen to it, because you will get to know those guys a whole lot better. And then also too, hopefully by then I'll have the video available with all of the guys talking about why they want to be on the board, because we've got them all now. Including Keith's. So you'll get, since he wasn't on the podcast, so you'll get to hear from him too. But yeah, man.
Going to put those videos on YouTube.
Yeah, they'll be
or Discord, or
they'll probably, so they'll get put in the members section, because aside from everybody else, like it's the members who are the ones that get to vote. So we'll put it in a spot where it's available for all of the members. So if you're not a member and you want to be a member, go to the
there's a
member
way
page.
you can do that.
There's a website. Yeah. Like there was a commercial before this that'll give you all the information you need on that. So definitely check that out. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to talk about. And it's getting late. I need to finish my drink. And I'm going to go to bed.
What are you drinking? I meant to tell you what I was drinking.
I was just drinking some scotch.
I have a new favorite.
Oh.
All right. So I just wanted to mention it. My father-in-law introduced it to me, and he was introduced to it after a big conference. And then he was in real estate and stuff. And then he had a big dinner, and they all got together, and he said, this is what you drink after dinner. It's for sipping. Don't guzzle it. And it's called a B&B. And I went, okay, a B&B. Is that like a mixed drink? And he said, no, right out of the bottle. It's brandy and Benedictine. And I went, okay, cool. Benedictine, I found, is a blend of 27 spices and herbs into a liqueur. And then they add brandy to it for B&B. And it is warm, but not fire. Okay. It is sweet, though, very sweet. But pairing it with a cigar is, for me, right where I want to be. And I immediately, when we got home, as soon as I could, I went out and bought a bottle. And it was like $30. So, but I won't drink that this.
So the bottle's called B&B?
Yep. It's B&B.
Oh, okay.
Brandy and Benedictine.
I'm going to have to look for that.
It's Benedictine is French. It's like I said, it's just a concoction of, there's a whole wiki page on it I found. Okay. But yeah. And I have to say, I'm going to probably have some at Home Dad Con. I'm definitely going to try to have cigars too. And it's just
I'm going to come find you for that.
Well done. Yeah, of course. I'll share.
Sounds awesome.
Wherever we're sitting, I'll have the bottle. There you go. Are you drinking? Glub.
Love it.
Anyway, yeah, man. Have a good night. Thanks for being here. I know you're getting tired. Thank you for all you do. And that's it for me too.
All right. We'll talk to you all next week. Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.